It was a quiet Saturday morning, the kind where the sun draped golden streaks across the water and the mist hovered just above the lake, giving everything a serene, almost magical look. I had been up before dawn, as usual, checking the docks and ensuring the lake's ecosystem was thriving. My property spanned hundreds of acres, and the lake, my pride and joy, was entirely private. It was stocked with trout, bass, and catfish, and I had spent years managing it, building natural habitats along the shoreline, and even installing hidden feeders to ensure the fish were healthy. Fishing there was a privilege, not a right. As I sipped my coffee on the dock, I noticed the unmistakable sound of splashing near the far end of the lake. Squinting through my binoculars, my jaw dropped. There was HOA Karen. Rod in hand, hat pulled low, sunglasses perched defiantly, as she cast her line near my prized fishing spot. She had that smug expression she always wore when she thought she was enforcing rules. I shook my head and muttered under my breath, "This woman never quits." I knew exactly what she was doing. The HOA had been sending passive-aggressive notices about unauthorized lake usage for months, but they had no legal standing on my property. Karen, of course, had taken it upon herself to patrol the lake like some self-appointed sheriff. Moments later, my phone rang. Unsurprisingly, it was Karen, breathless and full of indignation. "I'm calling the cops. Someone's fishing illegally. This is harassment. You can't let people, I saw someone. This is dangerous," she stammered. I took a slow sip of coffee and calmly replied, "Karen, you do realize you're trespassing on my property, right? The lake, the land around it, everything you see, it belongs to me." There was a pause on the line, long enough for me to hear her processing the information. Then, predictably, she got defensive. "Your property? That's not possible. The HOA." "Yes, Karen," I interrupted, enjoying the rare moment where the power dynamics had shifted. "The HOA manages common areas, but this lake? Not theirs, not public, and certainly not yours. You are trespassing. Right now, I'd suggest you pack up your fishing gear and leave." True to form, she doubled down. "I'm calling the sheriff. They need to enforce this immediately." I raised an eyebrow, smiling. "Funny you mention that. You might want to be careful with your accusations, because my son is actually a deputy sheriff in this county. In fact, he's the one who responds to any trespassing complaints around here." The silence on the line was deafening. You could almost hear the mental gears grinding as she tried to figure out how she had just declared war on a family of law enforcement officers while simultaneously trespassing. Before she could even respond, I grabbed my walkie-talkie and called my son. "Hey, make sure the sheriff's department knows HOA Karen is trying to file a complaint on my lake. She's fishing illegally, and yes, she's about to be embarrassed." Within minutes, 2 sheriff vehicles arrived, lights flashing silently. Karen, seeing the uniformed deputies approaching, attempted to feign authority. I was just," my son stepped out, grinning. "Morning, Karen. Funny seeing you here. I guess you didn't realize this lake belongs to my family." Karen turned pale. Her confident posture faltered. I thought. "You thought wrong," my son said gently but firmly. "This is private property. You were fishing without permission. You can't file a complaint here, and yes, you were trespassing." The deputies politely escorted her back to her car while she sputtered, trying to argue. I stood on my dock, arms crossed, soaking in the satisfaction of the moment. She had underestimated me, underestimated my family, and underestimated the legal boundaries of her own HOA. As her car disappeared down the dirt road, I leaned on the railing and let out a laugh. The lake was peaceful again, the fish swimming freely, completely oblivious to the chaos that had just occurred above their waters. I poured another cup of coffee and sat back, savoring the quiet victory. From that day on, the HOA never mentioned my lake again. Karen didn't try fishing there, didn't send more threats, and didn't attempt any inspection under the guise of authority. Sometimes it's not about confrontation, it's about being prepared, knowing your rights, and letting the natural order do its work. The lake belonged to me, and anyone daring to forget that learned it the hard way. Karen had officially been schooled on trespassing, in the most humiliating way possible. And I made sure every fish in the lake continued to thrive, undisturbed by the drama above.